गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुः साक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः. We are in Amrutanubhava and we are seeing the introduction to the 10th chapter, Grantha Parihara, the glory of Amrutanubhava. And Swamiji here is recapping all the chapters, and we saw the first chapter, the Shiva Shakti Samavesh, and before that we saw the Mangal Charana, the invocation mantras. There were 5 of them, and then the chapter on Shiva Shakti Samavesh, how the whole creation is a play of the consciousness and matter, or here it is not taken as matter, it is taken as the play between the Lord and his consort, the consciousness or the Purusha and his potentiality. Now the second chapter. In the second chapter, Guru Stavana, the second chapter was called Guru Stavana, the glory of the Guru, and was done, wherein the deep sincerity and intensity with which the seeker has to surrender his individuality was emphasized. In the initial stage, it is not easy to make this surrender to the unmanifest Paramatma Tattva, as one cannot comprehend the unmanifest truth. Therefore, the process of surrender begins with the surrender of the individuality as a disciple to the Guru, who is also taken as an individual. Thus starts the process of surrender. When it is steadily practiced, the I-ness of the disciple's individuality is reduced step by step. Simultaneously, the Guru as an individual gets less distinct gradually from the cognition. Thus, the unfoldment of the seeker from the Akara to the Nirakara Tattva is seen in the disciple's attachment to the Guru as an individual and the Guru as the principle manifesting through the individual. So, this is our situation. We all want to know the truth, but that truth is incomprehensible. That truth is without any form, and we are addicted to forms. Our mind cannot think anything without a form. So how to go about it? Here is the technique given, that as long as you are considering yourself to be an individual, you seek another individual as a teacher, as a Guru Maharaj, and slowly surrender to the dictates of that person. And what are the dictates? Those dictates are based upon everything that the scriptures are telling, and he is living it. And then what happens? As our faith and our commitment and conviction that the one who is teaching us is not the form, but what is the essence of that person, there our attention goes. Right now we are all very form addicted. Husband and wife, form. Parents and children, form. Job, form. House, form. Our body, form. Our thoughts, form. Everything is forms. What is a form? That which is conditioning some space, isn't it? That is a form. As if, that also don't forget, it's as if. It's not the reality. But because of this concretization of our personality, of us thinking that we are a form, we want to see everything also as a form. Even the divine also we want to see as a form. Therefore religions have come up and they have got their forms, or each one has their own form. So for a student, it is initial stages, it is very difficult to let go of the form when he is told that truth is all pervasive, it is birthless, it is deathless, it is eternal, it is ever pure, it is unborn, it is all knowing, it is without form. Oh really? You say yes, 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 but there is a doubt still. How can it be? And as the process of contemplation is initiated in the presence of the teacher, of the Guru Maharaj, slowly we learn to appreciate that the self that is within me, that is what is being talked about. And the self within me is the self that is in the teacher also. But how you will come to know about yourself as self and not as the body? Only when we are completely available to be molded by the teacher. Then it is possible. Otherwise we will hold on to our personality. We will hold on to our individuality. And that happens only to rare ones. Those who allow themselves to be molded, reformatted. Is the Guru Maharaj wanting anything from the student? Guru Maharaj is already established in the truth. He is seeing it as the Lord's Leela, or as the will of the totality that is expressing through him as whatever is going. His mere presence is auspicious. And yet, as we saw in the last few pages, last two chapters, Jnaneshwar Maharaj says to his Guru that even though you are without form, but you have taken a form for my sake. Even though you are all knowing, you don't need to teach anyone because you are all that there is, yet you have come down to this level where you are accepting me as your disciple and you are teaching me that which cannot be taught. See? Now this type of disposition from the student is required. And that comes with time. For some it comes straight away, for majority it will come with time. The more we get purified, to that extent our availability to the Guru Maharaj. So initially we are looking at the body of the teacher. And as we start getting purified, our ideas about what we are seeking become clear. That what I am seeking is not this or that. It is whatever I was seeking, I already am. And slowly we come to realize that the person who is teaching is not someone other than okay, both are correct. Other than the truth, other than the Lord, and not other than the consciousness that I am. Why is this? Why this penny drops? Only because you were available to the teachings. Only because you are available to be, your mind was available to be molded by the Guru Maharaj. Then it is possible. And in that molding, in that churning, in those contradictions, in those scoldings, in those question answers, in those contemplations, in those inquiries, somewhere and this must be your experience also, over the years, things have become clear, isn't it? About what? Not about how good the teacher is, about yourself. That everything that is being talked about is not a concept. Everything that is talked about is about the conscious principle that I am. So every word that is spoken in the satsangs is about me. When this clicks, and what is this I? It is I that is all inclusive. So in that inclusion, the Guru as the body is also included in that. So the consciousness that is expressing in the Guru, the consciousness that I am, is one and the same thing. And how was it possible to come to access this secret? Because it's plentifully available, but it is a secret because it's not, everyone finds it so difficult to be. Because of the Guru Maharaj and because of a teacher. And therefore, only to realize that this teacher is a principle. And then we must not remain stuck with one person. Then everything that you see, hear, touch, feel, taste, everywhere you find a teacher. Every event, with every breath, with every interaction, is a propellant for you to fall back into yourself, to be yourself. And this was the topic of the Guru Stavana, the greatness of the Guru, without whom we will not be able to fall back into ourselves. See, I think some classes ago I said, in Ashtavakra Gita also it comes like that. King Janaka comes to the court the next day and he asks, I had a dream. Martin Luther King. I had a dream. And then, my question now is, was I dreaming the butterfly or was the butterfly dreaming me? This was the question in Ashtavakra Gita. That's how it starts. So you began in ignorance, thinking that teacher is the Guru, and you conclude in realizing that Guru is the principle and everything is nothing but that Guru principle alone. Nothing is outside the Guru principle. Guru means heavier than the heaviest. Guru means all pervasive. Guru means that which removes the darkness. Guru is the light. What removes the darkness is the light. And that is the common denominator. Not initially I just told you that I am the conscious and that he is also the conscious. That is just in words. But you come to realize this Guru principle. Now you are not focused on a form. Now you are focused on, you are the principle. You are the substratum. This Guru is the substratum on which everything is. It's pervading, permeating everything and everyone. There's nothing outside of it. And in this way, the seeker transcends the limitations and conditionings and comes to realize that he is all that there is as the conscious principle. In the third chapter, Vacharna Parihara, the debt of speech was redeemed. The Guru has given Mahavakya Upadesha, Aham Brahmasmi, as the ultimate knowledge, but till one holds on to the word, one will not have transcended the four speeches. So here, the Vaikhari, Madhyama, Pashyanti, Para, the journey of the speech. As a child, we learn how to, as we grow up, we want to speak. And as old age comes, even if you want to speak, the words don't come out, isn't it? When you are dead, no speech. If you can bring about that situation while living consciously, fantastic. Because consciousness makes you, the speech makes you get involved in the world. Everything that you know in this world is because of speech. And what is speech? Equal to grossified thoughts is called speech. Thoughts in the mind, when they express out of the mouth, it is called speech. That's all. So it is grossified mind. See? And this has to be curbed. We continuously want to chat, blah, gossip. And it could be spiritual gossip also, but we are never questions, answers. We never get tired of it. Thinking that we are intelligent because we are asking questions. Thinking that we are very smart because this got revealed to me. Oh, that got revealed to me. Oh, I had this vision. Oh, I had that vision. It's all humbug. Nothing. It has got nothing to do with spirituality. It's only a figment of imagination of the mind. Yes, there may be in the mystic journey, there may be certain stages which are considered or told as these are the steps that happen. But it has got that journey has got nothing to do with your being who you are. It has got nothing to do with it. Because you are that immaculate, pristine self ever and ever and ever and ever. You have never fallen down from that status. But if you come into the mind and start thinking means you have come down from that status. If you can remain as you are in spite of thinking, then it's fine. To get to this point, we need the teacher. We need the speech. And we need to understand through the teacher or the Guru Maharaj or through the scripture or by the grace how to trace our journey back. Where did this speech come from which keeps me involved in this world? Where did the thoughts come from? Oh, we want to meditate. Straight away we want to go into the mind. First deal with the world, first deal with the gross, then go to the subtle. But we want to go straight to the subtle. We want to go straight to the divine. You didn't pop out of the divine. So you have to trace your journey back because that's how you have been programmed. So trace. And one of the techniques of tracing your journey back is through the speech. So instead of working on earth element or water element or fire element or air element, the whole creation is in the space, and the quality of space is sound. Speech is sound. So we take the sound, which is the quality of the space. Space is infinite, and we trace our journey back so that we can come back to ourselves. And what happens here? Exactly what all other contemplations are doing. The gross speech, if you transcend the gross speech, you have transcended the gross world. If you transcend the subtle speech called the Madhyama, you have transcended the dream world. If you transcend the Pashyanti, which is the unmanifest sound, so this is Vaikhari is the gross manifest, Madhyama is the subtle manifest, Pashyanti is the unmanifest. Now what did I say? I made one mistake. Vaikhari is the gross manifest, Madhyama is the subtle manifest, and Pashyanti is the unmanifest. And then comes para, that is the transcendental. It goes back to its source. So, this way, through holding on to the speech, understanding where is the origin of the speech, going back, the whole journey was given in this uh, uh, Vachara Parihara, and here it was told the Guru has given the Mahavakyopadesham Aham Brahmasmi as the ultimate knowledge, but till one holds on only to the word Aham Brahmasmi, I am that Brahman. If you hold on to that word I am that Brahman, it is not going to bring about the realization. You have to find out what it connotes, what it denotes. What is it? Who is this I and who is this Brahman? Are they two? Or are they one? If they are one, why am I seeing them? Why am I thinking about them as two? And if they are already one, then why have to say I am Brahman? The speech is not required. And in this way, here, but till one holds on only to the word, one will not have transcended the four speeches. The remnants of Vritti Jnanam will continue to be a bondage. Vritti Jnanam, the remnants of thought knowledge will continue to keep you in the bondage, and that is, what is bondage? Continue in the loop of birth and death, birth and death, birth and death, birth and death. So we have to go beyond. We don't have to destroy the mind to go beyond. We have to transcend in spite of the mind. That is the journey. A mere substitution of the earlier I am the body or I am the seeker thought with I am Brahman thought. It is a mere change in name. Therefore, Vachara Parihara, transcending the limitations of word or thought knowledge, is done by surrendering at the feet of the teacher. Again, the same thing. The teacher is not outside, the teacher is inside. So, where is the word coming from? Where are the words coming from? Where are the thoughts coming from? From the inside, from the source, from the teacher within you, from the Guru, the Sadguru principle or the Guru principle within you. But how will you get to that point? Without someone having taught you. So first you become available to be and allow your mind to be reprogrammed by the teacher, and that is possible only when you become completely available to the teacher. And as you continue with the practice, you come to realize that the teacher who taught me was none other than me alone. You see? Then the joy, then there is no duality then. Everything is the self. So done by only by surrendering at the feet of the teacher. Why feet? Why not hands of the teacher? Why not eyes of the teacher? Why not head of the teacher? Why feet? Why not the buttocks of the teacher? Why not the tummy of the teacher? Why only feet? Every time feet of the teacher. Feet of the teacher. Why? Because feet denote on the principles on which the teacher stands. That is why the feet of the teacher. Is he only talking or is he walking? What he walks the path that he is teaching. Is that happening? That is why. So whenever we see the padukas or we see the photograph of the gods, we always offer it to their feet. Why? Because the feet are the representative. It's carrying the whole body, isn't it? Feet are carrying the whole physical body. And without that carrying of the physical body, the subtle body and the causal body, that also will not be carried if the feet were not there. So, and What is that? What are the ideals? What are the characteristics? What are the morals? What are the ethics? What is the wisdom that is expressing through that is all available because those feet are able to carry that. Keep it, take it from place to place. And in this way, the third chapter, Vachara Parihara, Vacharana Parihara, was an opportunity, a technique, yet another technique by which we could dissolve our personality and come to recognize ourselves as the source. But it is only possible through surrender. Surrender to God, surrender to the scriptures, surrender to the teacher, Guru Maharaj, and the surrender to the self within, that I have the ability to be available. I have the availability, I have the readiness to be molded. I have the readiness and ability to understand everything that is being taught in the right context. That also is ability. Otherwise, people understand exactly the opposite and go and do something else. Isn't it? So, that ability, you must have faith in yourself. You must be surrendered to your own ability that yes, I can understand it, whatever is being told in one go. For that, you have to be available. See? Does it matter if you are available or not to the teacher? No. It doesn't matter. He is happy with himself. He is not here to change anyone. But if someone comes, then automatically that is the theme always going on and it begins. The fourth chapter dealt with Jnana Ajnana Bheda Kathana, and here it talked about the knowledge and ignorance. What is the difference between them? It was shown how the differentiation of knowledge and ignorance has no meaning, since neither exists in the absolute consciousness, those being only at the thought level. Very, very important. We get lost. Where there is light, there is no darkness. Just in the previous verse, we come to know the self and then the bondage goes away. But all this knowledge and bondage, this is the apara vidya. It is only at the mind level. All the opposites, light, darkness, up, down, back, front, inside, outside, knowledge, ignorance, divine and individual, all these are only at the mind level. Including the thought of Brahman is only at the mind level. Freedom and bondage, that is also at the mind level only. We have to transcend the mind. And so here it is told that this differentiation, what we see, we are living in this world of duality where continuously the opposites are coming towards us, isn't it? We wake up, we sleep. There is day, there is night. There is inside, there is outside. We are told, you are involving too much in the world, now withdraw from the world. Again the same thing. And this is going on. This is how the world is. But today's meditation was that this involvement and withdrawal of the world, pravritti nivritti, this is the phenomena. You cannot stop it. So to think that I want my mind to become completely quiet, it will not be possible permanently. Temporarily, yes. Every night it does become quiet. Consciously it will become, when you go into samadhi, it may become. But after samadhi, again the world is there and activity will begin in the mind. Hunger will come, pressure will come. Whatever your mind has been programmed with, that will start. So oh, this is too much trouble, this is too much, I want to escape from all this, I want to go beyond. Yes, you have to go beyond, but while being in the mind, you cannot go beyond. And there a teacher is required. Like Ramakrishna Paramahams, in his mind was totally obsessed with the goddess Kali. And he wanted to experience the self. He wanted to have an experience in his mind which is without the form. He wanted to go to the essence of the Kali Mata. Just like previous chapter told, you want to go to the essence of the teacher or the guru only to realize I am that, isn't it? So same way he wanted to do that. But he felt very guilty, he felt very afraid. He felt that it is just not possible to let go of the Kali Mata. And he said that this goddess Kali, she is not leaving his mind alone. He has become so obsessed and she is pervading his mind all the time. Then but the moment he felt that he needs a formless experience, what could it be like? Immediately a teacher appeared in his life. His name was Totapuri Maharaj. He came from Puri. And he says, I'll tell you. And he put him in the meditation. He says, cut her head off. Blasphemy! Cut the head off, God! Goddess! He says, yes. What do you want? Formless, isn't it? You have to get rid of the form. He couldn't do it. Then after a few days, he said, sit. He made him sit. Then guided him step by step. Take, I am there with you. And the moment he cut her head off in the mind, he didn't come out of samadhi for 3 days. He didn't come out of samadhi for 3 days. No food, no drink, nothing. Completely absorbed in himself. Not through something, but as himself. See? So here, we have to go beyond all the opposites. There is no place for them. If your goal is to search, to be yourself, if you are seeking who am I, then prerequisite is we have to find our disposition should be, I have to find a way to go beyond all the opposites. And for the way for that is first to recognize that all the opposites only exist at the level of mind. Second stage, they are not out there in the world, they are in the mind. Second stage, I know the mind. Second stage, I know the mind. I am aware of the mind. I am aware of the thoughts coming and going. I am aware of all the opposites that are happening. Then naturally, next question will be, then who am I? Who is knowing? When you become obsessed with this, then it is possible. But first you have to be convinced that all thoughts, all opposite, the entire world is a mere figment of imagination of your mind. It is not real out there. This is also not real. Yet it is happening. And you cannot deny it. As long as you are a body, you cannot deny it. But while all this is going on, without creating friction with what is going on, we have to find a way to fall back into ourselves. For that, nothing special is required to be done. You have to just shift your position. I understood. No. Remain calm. If the mind says I understood, take the position. In my presence, the mind is understanding. In my presence, the body is moving. In my presence, the body is sleeping, mind is sleeping, mind is understanding, mind is thinking, mind is contemplating, mind is confused. But all this is happening in my presence. again and again come back to this point rather than remain in the mind. Even this thought that is coming, that it is happening in my presence, is also being illumined by me. Now, as you become focused on this, initially it's just a blabber in the mind to reorient yourself back to yourself. But as the thoughts subside, disturbance subsides, the opposites which are troubling you, they also subside in the mind. And the thought is still going on, that this quietness is also illumined by me, and the activity is also illumined by me in the mind. Then automatically you will feel, then are illumined by me only because my attention is on the non-activity or activity, knowledge or absence of knowledge. Here Jnaneshwar Maharaj doesn't use the word ignorance anywhere. He uses it as incomplete knowledge. Knowledge or incomplete knowledge. Then who is this illuminator? As the mind slows down consciously, deliberately, and that it will slow down only when you have faith, only when you are focused on the self, only when you are available, only when you are surrendered, only when you are doing the practice of not objectifying every thought that erupts in your mind. And then it's just like naturally you glide into sleep, thinking of sleep, you glide into sleep. Thinking of the self, you glide into the self. But availability and surrender is very necessary. It's not a mechanical process. You have to have faith. Just like you have faith that sleep will come when you close your eyes, where you have faith that when I go to bed, I'm in the right position, everything is done, and you have faith. You're thinking about sleep, you surrender to the sleep and allow it to absorb your mind into nothingness, isn't it? That same disposition is required to allow the infinite self to absorb the last remnants of individuality. And how is individuality expressing? As a thought, only as a thought. Allow that last bit to be absorbed. So you're thinking, I am infinite. The fact that you are thinking is personality is there. Allow that. So it is thinking about something higher. Just like in sleep, you're thinking about nothingness, and you allow it to absorb you, absorb the mind. Allow the consciousness to absorb the conscious mind. So, in this fourth chapter, the understanding was, first understand that the entire world of duality, this knowledge and ignorance being nothing but incomplete knowledge, is only at the level of mind, and you are the illuminator of the mind. From absolute point of view, just like from sun's point of view, here it was told that since neither exist means knowledge or ignorance, knowledge or incomplete knowledge, darkness and light, consciousness and matter, all these opposites do not exist from the absolute consciousness point of view. And the examples that were given, from the sun's point of view, there is no day and night. From the absolute waters, infinite waters point of view, there is nothing called ocean and wave. From the gold point of view, there is nothing called ornament. From the rope point of view, there is nothing called snake. Huh? From the self point of view, there is nothing called mind or the world. Then from self point of view, what is there? Self alone is. How will that be? Get there and find out. You cannot put words to it. Scriptures try, but they can only go to that extent. They cannot tell you the final thing. Get there. Only a conscious. Scriptures are not conscious. You are conscious. What they are telling you is, the words of the teacher are telling you is, to wake you up to yourself. That you are not inert. But if you continue to take yourself to be inert, then there will be fear of death. Inert meaning body. Inert meaning thoughts. Then there is fear of dementia. There is fear of forgetfulness. There is fear of death. There is fear of, I don't know, I get anxious and my breathing stops. I don't want to get into that. Fear again. Don't become a slave to the mind. Regain your identity, your reality. So just like that, like sun does not have it cannot understand what is light as well as it cannot understand what is darkness. Similarly, a person established in the self does not know what is right and wrong, does not know what is black and white, does not know what is consciousness and matter. You see him moving around, but that is your take on him. But what is he going through, he only knows. Because he is all that there is. He is all that there is. This was followed in the fifth chapter by Satchidananda Pada Traya Vivarna, where the words Sat, Chit and Ananda were analyzed only to conclude that these three words are only pointers to indicate that the truth is not Asat, not Jada and not Ananda. They do not define the truth. So we keep saying the word Satchidanand, 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 Parabrahma, Paramatma. So, but in this chapter, Jnaneshwar Maharaj took a different turn. He said, Sat word, the truth, the pure consciousness cannot be called pure consciousness also. Brahman cannot be called Brahman also. Reality cannot be called reality also. And if you are giving that reality or pure consciousness or the self, which cannot be called self, you are telling it is Satchidanand, means existence, consciousness and bliss. This is not to prove the existence that the reality is of this nature, but it is to, you are using the word Sat, existence, so that your mind does not get caught up in non-existence. You are using the word consciousness so that your mind does not go into ignorance. Consciousness is knowledge, so that it does not go into ignorance. And you are using the word bliss so that you don't become focused on misery. If your nature is that, but the truth, the absolute truth cannot be called as existence, consciousness and bliss. Because if truth is all that there is, how can it have any attributes? It's all that there is. It cannot be split up with anything, isn't it? So all splitting is only in imagination. And that imagination is in the mind. So when you think you are a woman and you are being talked about, how do you split yourself? Being a mother, being a wife, being a sister, being a daughter. But where are all these personalities? Are they existing separate to you? No. All the personalities put together is equal to you? No. They are only a figment of imagination in your mind. you have forgotten yourself that you are a woman, you get identified with someone, and immediately a personality is born, isn't it? This journey back is being told here. That don't get focused on Satchidanand also. Satchidanand is only to cancel the flip side of it. Every coin has two sides. Mind also has two sides. So if you use the word Sat, immediately Asat. If you use the word absolute, immediately not absolute. If you use the word consciousness, immediately unconsciousness. If you use the word light, immediately darkness. You don't have to produce the other side. If I say I want to go up, immediately down is created. If I look outside, immediately inside is created. If I say east, immediately west is created. This is how the mind functions. It's got nothing to but this, that. No, this is how the phenomena functions. So, having caught that this is how the phenomena functions, Jnaneshwar Maharaj is trying to bring us out of this phenomena of duality. So, don't get focused on Satchidanand because these are self-cancelling. Just like the scientists in quantum physics, they discovered quarks once upon quite a few, 2 decades ago, 3 decades ago. When they discovered quarks, after some time, they discovered negative quarks. See? So there, and today, in today's science, they have discovered that everything in this nature, according to the CERN experiment, 10 years of study in Switzerland, 144 kilometers, I think, is the radius of that particle accelerator. And they have done the experiments and they have come to find out that if you say matter, immediately the opposite is created. What is that? Antimatter. And they have discovered that matter and antimatter in this creation is always in equilibrium with each other. They are always equal. And therefore, conclusion that they have come to, they have not been able to prove it. The conclusion that they have come to is there can be no universe. This is the latest by quantum physics. There cannot be any universe. Science is coming to that conclusion. It is not taught in the universities or schools. But see what they are saying, that matter and antimatter is equal. When you remain equanimous towards all the opposites that are erupting in your mind, you will come back. You are the truth then. See, their search is still objective. But they come to that point. They are rishis. They are sages. Those who are doing the experiments. Our rishis were also sages like this. But they did not do the experiment in the physical world. They did it in their mind. Through observation. They are also observing only, these scientists. And somewhere the penny will drop and they will fall back into themselves. In the next 3 chapters, 6th, 7th and 8th, Shabda Pramanam, Ajnanam and Jnanam are denied respectively, beginning with the praise of the glory of the word Shabda Pramana. In the 6th chapter, the same greatness is destroyed when it comes to the realm of the absolute. Words are shown to be totally inadequate there. The ultimate purpose, so in the first, how the words can make us think about the transcendental, that was taken only to slash it away. So when we begin our journey, for example, we begin with the form, then we transcend to the sound, then we go beyond the sound. straight away to think that I want to be the absolute. You don't have what it takes to be the absolute, even though you are all the time the absolute. And why is that? Because you have for too long been considering yourself to be the mind. So that needs a servicing. It needs reprogramming. So nobody is denying you are not the absolute. You are. But what is stopping you from being it is addiction with thinking. With thinking. Addiction with the mind. That thoughts are real. Thoughts, if I am asking questions, if I am speaking, if I am discussing, I am intelligent. I got it. I can articulate everything in the correct manner. I can put it so succinctly across. I can understand it when I'm talking to myself. Oh, it's all so crystal clear. We get caught up in the mind alone. See? We get caught up in the mind. And here it is clearly told that we have to go beyond the word. We cannot remain at the level of the word. Word is gross and subtle. Thoughts are also words. Speech is also word. These are gross and that is subtle. We have to go beyond subtle and gross. Again, duality. The ultimate purpose of the word as represented by the authority of the scriptures is after all to destroy ignorance. Therefore, in the 7th chapter, Jnaneshwar Maharaj analyzes and shows that the Shabda or the word can destroy ignorance only if the latter exists. So, we want to remove darkness. So, what do? We bring in light. That is how we understand. If I don't know something, if I can't see something, then someone brings me attention. Now I see it. Now take one example. Can you see space? Right now. Can you see space? Can you? Is there space? Then how do you know if you can't see it, if you can't know it, you cannot taste it, you cannot smell it, with your 5 senses you cannot experience it, then how do you know space is there? Yet it is there, no? Where is your attention? On the objects. And for your understanding right now, what is space? The emptiness between two objects. So, our scriptures say absence of objects is space. Correct? Just like that. Just like that. What is ignorance? What is darkness? Let's go to darkness now. What is darkness? Which is removed by presence of light. Absence of light is good. Absence of light is darkness. But is there anything called darkness?
It's because of the light that darkness is.
So they coexist. They coexist. Light and darkness coexist. Where do they exist? In the mind. So you have the mind has a concept. Now it has a concept and it is addicted to the light. I want the light. God is light. Spiritually means being focused on the light. And I don't want to go towards the darkness. Darkness is dark. It is evil. It is heinous. All these words. I don't want to go. And so you now get attached to the light and you want to get detached from the darkness. Jnaneshwar Maharaj is saying, the day you stop thinking of the light, darkness will come out. First. So therefore, he is saying, first find out, because this will keep going on. You are running away from the darkness where? In your mind. You are moving towards light where? In your mind. Isn't it? And the day you stop your journey towards the light, again the darkness will come. Why is it that way? That is the nature of the phenomena. You cannot do anything about it. So if you want to get out of this light and dark, first find out, is there anything called darkness? Is there anything called ignorance? You want to collect knowledge, you want to become conscious. Is there anything called unconscious? Find out. Is there anything called ignorance? Find out. Therefore, he coins the word incomplete knowledge. He doesn't use the word ignorance. Same way, find out, is there any material called darkness? Just like this is a material called cloth, this is a material called metal. Is there a material called darkness which can be removed by the presence of light? No. So these two, where are they existing? Only conceptually, in the mind. See? So here he says, be the one. Don't try to solve that which cannot be solved. It cannot be solved. He is again bringing your attention from the absolute standpoint, both of them remain cancelled. Who is that absolute? Do you know there is light? Yes. Do you know there is dark? Yes. Who knows? Rather than work out the darkness and light, come back to the one. Come back to the one. And therefore, here in the 7th chapter, Jnaneshwar Maharaj analyzes and shows that the Shabda or the word can destroy ignorance only if the latter exists. So, thoughts can destroy, good thoughts can destroy bad thoughts. This is what we say. What is that? Introspect, detect, negate, grow and be happy. So, positive affirmation. Positive affirmation for what? To remove the negative concepts that you have harbored in your mind. First find out, is negativity existing? Is darkness there that you are searching for light? So we use words only, no? So from ignorance is a word, knowledge is a word. So you want knowledge in order to remove ignorance. But there is nothing called ignorance. What are you going to remove? Now take it one step further. We are coming together to study the scriptures or come to the satsang for what? So that we fall back into ourselves, we come to realize ourselves. It's a journey, isn't it? You're thinking of the self again and again. Why you want to think of the self? Because you don't want to live as not self. You don't want to live as an ignorant. You want to be happy. You don't want to remain not happy, isn't it? So is not unhappiness, is it a material? So again, this journey of I am unhappy, I have to become happy. I am ignorant, I have to be knowledgeable. I am dumb, I am now intelligent. I am caught up in this samsara, now I want freedom from samsara. I am in bondage, I want freedom. So this whole journey is going on where? In the mind. Jnaneshwar Maharaj says, drop it, be it. Stop the journey, stop the seeking. Therefore, you must have heard this many times. The most miserable search is the search for happiness, isn't it? This is what it means. Oh, really? I don't have to do anything? Yes, you don't have to do anything. But till you are not able to sit and do nothing for long periods of time, like Nisargadatta Maharaj, 2 years he sat, came out a realized master. We have an itch. But how can it be like that? Question. How cannot be like that? Again a question. We are addicted to thinking, we are addicted to doing. See? So here it is being told that the shabd or the word can destroy ignorance only if ignorance exists. And then he exhaustively proves that ignorance can neither exist in the self nor independent of it. Why it cannot exist in the self? Self is of the nature of knowledge. Self is all that there is. Where there is light, there is no darkness possible. And why can it not exist apart from the self? Because if self is real, self is all that there is, then self is the reality. How can you have another reality called ignorance? Existing separate to it? It cannot be. Did you understand what I just said? I said if self, the absolute reality, is one without a second, and then you say that ignorance is existing apart from it, then you are giving existence or the status of reality to ignorance also. And how can there be two realities? One called absolute consciousness, another called ignorance. Not possible. And this was analyzed in that chapter, in the 7th chapter. Therefore, the Shabda, which itself is impotent, is not capable of destroying non-existent ignorance. So, where has the word come from? From the mind. In the mind. Where has the mind come from? Where has the mind come from? It's a phenomena. It is existing in its own absence. So everything that is happening in the mind by way of words, and by way of words we know the whole creation, it remains defunct. There is no value to it. So words cannot illuminate the truth. Why? Words themselves are a part of the phenomena. Recognize this. And the day it clicks, you will stop thinking. You will stop talking. You will stop asking questions. You will stop seeking. You will be where you are supposed, as you are.
So what relief.
It will be absolutely. See? So words cannot destroy ignorance. Words cannot destroy ignorance. Because ignorance, firstly, ignorance does not exist. And secondly, because words themselves, if you take ignorance to be there, words are a product of ignorance. So how can the baby destroy the mother? Not possible. It is a product. How can the cause be destroyed by the effect? Word is the effect, ignorance is the cause, if you take it from the Shankar Vedanta point of view. How can fire destroy the space? It is a product, it is the effect of space. Air, fire, water, earth. All these four are product of space. Space is that which is not. It's emptiness. What is emptiness? So can the earth influence the space? No. Can the water wet the space? No. Can the fire burn the space? No. Can the air dry the space? No. Effect cannot influence the cause. Correct? Exactly the same way. Ignorance is the cause and words are the effect. And if ignorance itself is non-existent, it is not there in the first place, then can the words be there? Not possible. And where are we caught up? Only in thinking, only in talking, only in listening. Oh, but then what's the point of living? Now, if that is the question that is coming, then determine. Are you here to live or are you here to claim back who you essentially are? We are not here to prove the existence of the physical world. We are here to we have come here to satsang to realize that in spite of all this, I am as I am. I'm not here to prove anything because nothing can be proved in this world. And yet everything can be proved to some extent. And before you prove it, it changes. Then came the 8th chapter, and in the 8th chapter takes the next logical step, the denial of jnana, denial of knowledge. So first ignorance was denied, now the knowledge will be denied. The ajnana does not exist, the ignorance does not exist, then the obvious corollary follows that knowledge also cannot exist. Thus, Shabda, Ajnana and Jnana, that the word, ignorance and knowledge have been fully analyzed and negated when the knowledge of the truth matures in the seeker through all the techniques explained thus far. He reaches the state of a Jivan Mukta. So, when he goes beyond the word, he goes beyond the opposites and he's absolutely clear, has worked all this out that knowledge and ignorance are mere concepts of the mind. I have to go beyond that also. I must not be focused on this or focused on that. Initially, yes, you will be focused on knowledge. Only by coming to the knowledge we have come to know that knowledge, and now we have become available that knowledge also is not worth pursuing in that sense. Yeah? That it is also thought knowledge alone. But what that knowledge is indicating is other than the thoughts. This is what comes in Taittiriya Upanishad. That the word cannot illuminate the truth. The mind cannot grasp the truth. Truth is independent. Truth is self-existing. The state of the Jivan Mukta was explained exhaustively in the 9th chapter, which we did last few classes. This should serve as a great inspiration to every seeker to aspire towards that goal steadily and not get affected by any difficulty or obstacle that one might encounter. This was the purpose of the last chapter on the Jivan Mukta Dasha Kathana, that how a realized master, still living, how does he move about in this world? What is his disposition towards everything? That was the topic. And after having done that, the 10th chapter deals with Grantha Parihara or the Grantha Mahima, the greatness of the text. The greatness of the text, Amrutanubhava. When there is full appreciation of the text, that is Mahatmya Jnanam. Mahatmya means greatness. Jnanam is knowledge. When you have in your mind the sense of greatness for this text is there, then alone will there be surrender, reverence and love. And those are the qualities that are required in plenty in order to transcend everything. And in this way, when love, bhakti, is born out of the recognition of true greatness, such love endures the test of time. If your love is towards that which is ephemeral, that which is changing, that which is temporary, your love also goes away with that person or that thing. In the childhood you loved the toys. Now you don't love the toys. You loved friends. You couldn't live without your friends when you were young. Now you don't even you may sometimes think about it, but your life has moved on. No, we are friends till death. Promise. As young kids, we all did that. But where are those friends now? Don't even know. Everything moves on. So here it is told that Only when we give importance to that unchanging principle, to that divine theme, to that substratum, to that conscious self that we are, consciousness that we are, that and when the sense of greatness, that it is more, it is what that all that there is, a sense of reverence, a deep faith and surrender to that can alone bring you to that. Bring you to that means again, then you will see it is somewhere. No, it will bring you to yourself. In the Narad Bhakti Sutra, the thought is echoed: when love is based on the three gunas, it will never remain steady. Three gunas, sattva, rajas, tamas. If the love is out of purity, it is still unsteady. When love is out of rajas, dynamism, it is more unsteady. And when it is love is out of tamas, which is inertia, or on the inert objects, it can never be. So even though your mind is purified and you are thinking great thoughts and God comes in your mind without your calling and He is giving you darshan, everything fantastic. But you have to go beyond. You have to go beyond. But when love is born out of recognition of true worth, such love will never fail. And what is true worth? That love is not towards. Initially it begins as love towards the self, only to culminate in I am love. Then there is no fall from there. If there is fall, understand, whatever you reached was only in your mind. You didn't get to the ultimate. You are still in the mind. Such is the greatness of this text that one will never forever be inspired to read it again and again, contemplate on what is said, until the experience of the nectar, the self, will be transferred from the book to one's own being, and one will permanently abide in the bliss of the self. And in this way, this was the introduction that Swamiji has given to this last chapter. And in our next class, we will begin with the verses. So that is a recap of the entire text that we have been going through over the last few years. So continue reading it, continue open any page. It will. Everything is so potent in this text, it's unbelievable. May, by the grace of Jnaneshwar Maharaj and all the saints and sages, we come to abide in that which is indicated here, which is none other than the self. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Shate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.